Hi everyone, today I'm drawing this charcoal portrait. This is the second time I draw exclusively with charcoal. And in this video, I want to talk about background. People seem to be interested in my background creation. What's the technique, how to create it, how to make it interesting, and so on and so forth. So let's grab your favorite croissant and don't forget to give me some. But first, before I can talk about the background, I need to draw the face first. I'll just show you the time-lapse here. And if you want to know how I do the face with charcoal pencil, the steps I take, then feel free to watch my previous video. So in my second attempt at drawing with charcoal here, I no longer draw lines with my pencil, like in the previous video. I said that using a pencil was a mistake, because it's so messy, and I was afraid that I couldn't smooth out the drawing, which thankfully I could. But here, I'm using my pen pastel applicator to do the initial sketch. And I think the technique here is much better because it's not messy, and as you can see, the drawing looks very soft. Yeah, it still looks like Casper's mom, but I'm so glad this technique works for me. This is not about what's right and what's wrong, according to Drawing Bible 101, but this is what I feel is right according to my starving gut. And this is exactly the look I'm after, a soft drawing. And I'm sorry if the time-lapse here is a bit too fast. I don't talk the steps much here. This is because I want to talk about the background, which will be after I draw the face. But the thing is, I don't want to skip the face progression because people might react badly. Why do you skip the progression? I want to see how the face is done too. Not good, alright? And besides, this is a great opportunity to clear up the confusion about the initial sketch I talked about earlier. So now the sketch is done, and as you can see, soft and not messy. But of course, I can't really draw the small details using the big, blunt applicator. So now it's a good time to start using my paper stump. And since my paper stump here is more pointy, it's more accurate. And since it's harder, it creates darker lines than my applicator. I mostly use my paper stump for the darker mid value. And I rarely use my charcoal pencil here, except for the darkest part like the pupil, the iris, and I also use my eraser a lot as well to really sculpt the light areas so that it's in the correct placement. Using the applicator at the start of the drawing process was just for building the mid value. This is so important because without the mid value, I could only darken things with my charcoal, but with the mid value as my base layer, now I can both darken or lighten things. This workflow is easier and faster for me. Now the face is done, let's give this lady some hair. We don't want to see her bald now, do we? For the hair, the light value has been established thanks to my applicator. Now I use my paper stump to further darken the shadow. This process is really fast because with a paper stump, I can cover much bigger areas than if I shade with my pencil. But of course it won't be dark enough, so I use my pencil to darken it even further, and then I use the paper stump to even out the shading. And later for the highlight, I just use my eraser. This is pretty much the workflow I take for the hair. And the thing I want to talk about here, regarding the background, when I draw the hair, I don't really think about the background yet. It's true I darken the background around the hair, but this is because I want to define the hair edges. And notice that I don't render the hair edges with lines. That's what beginners do. Well, I'm not a beginner, I'm a rookie. Come on, this is just my second time drawing with charcoal, guys. Anyway, I don't draw lines here. I'm blocking in the value around the hair. Or you could say, I'm drawing a super thick, fat line around the hair, if that's easier to understand. The background starts somewhere around the bottom area of my drawing. If you take a closer look here, I don't really render the clothing realistically. I just try to create some hint that this area is her clothing. To achieve this super faint, soft value, I only use my applicator. And then with my eraser, I try to sculpt the value so that the shadow and the light are in the correct placement. I also might draw with my paper stump, but I'm really hesitant since my paper stump produces a rather darker and rougher texture. Same with her hair here. I just tried to create some hints of hair. Okay, so this is the drawing so far, and it looks horrible. Absolute disaster. Especially the background. Though the face looks great, if the background looks like this, then I think it's not a good portrait. So now it's time to improve the drawing, make it more interesting and creative, artistic, whatever you name it, with background creation. So why does the background look awful? This is because it's just following the contour of the subject's head. This is boring. Avoid this mistake at all cost. So what I suggest you do is to sketch it first with the applicator. Don't sketch with a pencil or paper stump because they're harder to erase. So don't be shy, go as crazy as you like because artists are crazy anyway. As long as you use the applicator, you're good. The way I'm thinking is I like to create some kinda abstract brush marks around my subject. Here is brush mark number 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But it doesn't have to be a brush mark. In this portrait here, which I did in the previous video, it's more like an abstract cloud or something, just to give you some ideas. And if I don't like how it looks, I can just simply erase the edges, move things around, until I'm satisfied. There is no right or wrong, free to do whatever you like. And the way you look at the background is to imagine it as a silhouette. If you feel something's wrong, then something is wrong. You need to figure out what it is and change it accordingly. Also, one thing to look out here is don't draw any face. If you have something like this, then it looks like from The Conjuring and it's distracting. It's really easy to accidentally draw a face hidden somewhere with this abstract thing. You can, however, stop here and do a lighter sketch like this, but if you're feeling adventurous like me, you can darken it further with charcoal pencil. I personally like dark background portraits because it serves as a contrast to the face. And the next important thing is composition. We need to place our subject in the center, of course, and let's say if the left side is darker than the right side, then we say it's heavy on the left side. In this portrait here, I try to create some balance between both sides. And since this is a portrait, not landscape, the up and down isn't that important. But this comes from my experience and not from Drawing Dictionary 102. The last thing, which is also important, is the margin. I'll make sure that the right, left, top and bottom side have an even margin. But sometimes you can break this rule too. It's just you need to be mindful is all. So with that being said, I think this portrait is finished. And by the way, where is my croissant? Ah, you ate them all, did ya? I told ya I wanted some. Since you ate it, you must click the subscribe and the like button for me. Time to set off. I need to get some Danish strawberry for myself.